This quick tutorial will instruct you on how to take a bitmap image and prepare it for laser cutting and by converting it to a raster image. First, let's start with just a simple bitmap image. I've picked an octopus as an appropriate icon for my research group. Open it in Photoshop. Since this happens to be a GIF file, the first thing we need to do is go and move that into an RGB file so we can really do useful things in Photoshop. And also, let's go ahead and make a layer from the background to give us a bit more flexibility. The primary element is I want to add a drop shadow, or I'm sorry, a stroke, 1 pixel wide. So I'm going to type in 1 there, all around that. Now if you notice, you don't see any red show up, no stroke is there. That's because this entire background is filled with white. So let's pull out the background eraser and get rid of all that. I'm sorry, the magic eraser. So we've got rid of most of it. Notice, really be careful. Here's some extra white that escaped our notice, and here's even a little bit more. And now you can see that red is showing up clearly. Now it's time for a bit of fix-up. If you notice, there's some unwanted elements here. There's something down here. This region doesn't have any clearances. So let's just get out an eraser and get rid of some of those little problems. So we'll pull out an eraser tool and pick a reasonably sized brush, and we'll get rid of all of this. We're not really interested in cutting that copyright. Looks like there's a little something here, so I'll just get rid of that. And then for a bit of precision work, zoom in here. I'm going to make sure to pick a hard brush. I don't really want a soft brush. So here's a series of soft brushes. And I believe this is a, here we go, hard round 3 pixel brush. So this should allow me to nicely take off a little bit. I'm going to rub that brush back and forth just to create a little gap between those two surfaces, and therefore creating a clean edge between them. So at this point, one moment. We've got a nice image of the octopus there. It's fully outlined. I don't really care about the inside. I'm not trying to delete that. All I want is that outline. In fact, all I want is the outline, so I can reduce the fill to 0% and leave only that image behind that I care about. Now let's copy that merged image, and from here we'll go over to Illustrator, create ourselves a new document. Paste in that, and what we want to do is use a live trace object to trace that. Now that isn't quite what we want, so we can always look at the tracing options to tweak that a bit. In particular, we want strokes rather than fills. And go ahead and preview that image, and if you notice, that's showing us a much stronger trace. There's a couple things down here that we'll have to fix up later, but that gives us a first pass at it. So we'll trace that. Zooming in a bit again, there are a couple things we'll have to fix up here later, but at least we've got a good solid outline to begin with. For more precision, I would probably suggest going back to the bitmap and cleaning up these areas and then retracing based on that cleanup. For now, we're doing something simple. The rest of the process, let's save that as an SVG file. And in particular, we want an SVG 1.0. Once it's saved as an SVG file, we can now open that SVG file in Visio. The log file will show some errors. Notice that it claims to be able to import any 1.0, driving that choice of SVG 1.0. So now we've got the octopus, and remember, just for laser cutting, what we need to do is specify, we'll select that, and specify the line color as a pure red. And we also need to specify that line weight as a custom weight of 0 points. You won't see it change there, but if you wave your mouse over it does change. And now the object is ready to be cut. Again, we'll have to do some fine cleanup here, but I leave that for a later tutorial. Hope this provides some great ways to produce some interesting images that can be laser cut. Thanks for listening.